Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the place of the world you are today. Welcome to another Coffee with Cabana, a café con Cabana in Spanish. And today I have a wonderful guest. She's Dana Sender-Mulla, and we will talk about Zikaron BaSalon. That is, in English, memory in the living room. Today we're exploring what does it mean memory in the living room, and it's the grassroots way to commemorate the Holocaust that began in 2011 as a new format for Yom HaShoah. And today we do have Dana, and we will talk in simple and very powerful ideas how she's doing and she's taking care about this beautiful project which is all around the globe. So welcome to One Coffee with Kavana, Dana Sender-Mulla. How are you today?
Shalom. Hi, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really happy to be here and to talk about something so meaningful and important to me, to the Jewish people, and I believe can be a tool and a wonderful asset for the world.
It will be. It will be. It will be. So let me go and make. I have a little idea in my mind, and I would like if you can tell us in one sentence what is the mission of Zikaron BaSalon today, and how do you hold between remembrance and civic action?
Okay, so Zikaron BaSalon, as you said, in Hebrew, it means memory in the living room, but it really brings together to life connection between people, connection between two people or many more on the basis of shared values, which I think in today's world where we see people stuck in their screens or working tremendously hard, or really this is an opportunity to connect with one another intimately in a setting that's in a private home. And allows us to foster a relationship that's bigger than just ourselves, but really connects us to something greater than who we are in our past, that helps us prevail and create a better future for ourselves and for our future generations. So if we think of Zikaron BaSalon and we think about our mission statement, in a way, if you think about it, every Jew in the world on Passover night, you know where they're going to be. There's a very clear tradition. Every family comes together and reads the Haggadah, the story of the Jewish people as they left Egypt and made their way into their next chapter in history. That same tradition is a tradition that sits on the word izkor, to remember, something that we are commanded to do as a Jewish people, to remember. And similar to that, we at Zikaron BaSalon, we are taking something that's so significant to who we are in the world, which is something that happened to us, does not define who we are, but it happened to us, which is the Holocaust. So we take the Holocaust as something that we want people to remember, not just because it was commanded to remember, but really in the Jewish meaning of remembering is really, what do you do about it? How do you see things now for your present and for your future? So when we think of Zikaron BaSalon, we think of a tradition. That is our mission statement, that every Jew around the world, and possibly many more that will join, will sit around the table or around the living room on Yom HaShoah, on Holocaust Memorial Day, just as we do on Pesach, on Passover. And this will become a new tradition for our people, one that takes a memory, brings it to life, and brings together questions on who we want to be. That is really our mission.
Well, it's important. It's important to tell this one, and this is why I brought this, this living room which is behind me, because I would like to think that we are taking care about this idea, and let me join what you told me to the growth and global reach, because you started this in Israel 2011, and as today, what started as a few Israeli living rooms is now a global movement. What three things made it possible to scale across countries and cultures without losing authenticity, because it's difficult to do that. And the power that you have all around the world, it's amazing.
Thank you so much. So authenticity is really a key word here. And when we created Zikaron BaSalon, we were a group of young people who wanted to give more meaning to this day. We used to be just an audience in this day, and we really wanted to create something of much more meaning. And when we brought this to life, it started with one living room hosted by Adi Altschuler in 2011 in her living room, and turned into a group of people wanting to create social change through this vehicle. So I would say if three things. The first one is creating a social movement. It's never been about who is leading this, who is the face of this. No. If this is a tradition, and if this is something that should be happening in every home, that should be the mindset. People are irrelevant here in terms of who is behind this and who is leading it. It should be grassroots. It should be led by the people, for the people, and it's based on volunteers. So the first one is, from day one, we designed it as a social movement. That also says a lot about the organization as it stands today. Only less than 5 years ago did we actually establish a nonprofit to support this, that has a very, very lean budget and a very lean staff to support the social movement globally and locally. Because it really is about people taking responsibility and making it their own. So that was one, social movement. The second part of it is that, how do we get it to work so well? When someone participates in it for the first time, they feel deep, deep, deep effect and meaning on them. And they want to continue to do it. We see this, that every year our numbers grow. It's because people who've participated or hosted once will want to continue to do that. And it's the essence of the experience is so powerful and strong. But more than that, as you know, Israelis and Jews are in their souls travelers. Israelis go around the world, and Jews live all over the world. So through the network of the Jewish communities, and through the network, the extending networks of Israelis that are traveling and moving to different places around the world, we have a very, very wide network of volunteers who care about this topic and want to create meaning where they are. Whether or not they're traveling in India right now for several months and it's Holocaust Memorial Day, they'll want to do something because they know how powerful and meaningful it is. If it's a family that moved to Amsterdam and this is the core of their lives, this is a way to connect them to their identity, to who they are as Jews and as Israelis. So that's on the Israeli part. And I think that one of the things that we did well in the beginning is that we created very strong partnerships with national and international organizations. While at first we were very grassroots, young people roaming the streets. It was very undercover. You know about it from friends who bring friends. Now it's really, it's on every national television channel in Israel every year. It's in every school, in every unit, in every university, in every college. Today, we are so accessible, which I think is the next part. You asked me about three things. We made it very, very easy to use and accessible. So we're able to get to anyone. The memory belongs to everyone. And I think this is a very crucial and important part of who we are. We made it very, very easy and very accessible. And one of the things that helped make this day very, very successful was that it already had a date in the calendar. So if you're in Israel and it's Holocaust Memorial Day, in the evenings, everything is closed. Everything is shut down. You don't have anything to do but watch a Holocaust movie on television, listen to sad songs on the radio, or to do something, to get up, to participate, to lead. This is the power of this day. And I think that one of the things that helped us tremendously was that it was a date in the calendar. Those are the things. But as I mentioned about authenticity and using people as a vehicle to create this movement that's now really worldwide, is really meeting people where they are. And when I said that there's a lean organization, people who've participated already and when we started this, we were in our early mid-20s. We're now older, right? We want to make sure that younger generations are feeling connected to this topic as well. So we actually dedicate a lot of our time thinking about how can this be authentic, meaningful, and relevant to younger generations and to other groups in society who are not yet connected. So I can tell you, for instance, in the last couple of years, we've had really, really meaningful and beautiful collaborations with gamers. So people who are YouTubers and gamers and videotape what they do and show other kids how to play video games, as an
Yes.
example. So we collaborated with the top gamers in Israel and Jews from around the world. And we brought a Holocaust survivor to play with them. And through the game of showcasing war, they told their story. And the gamer asked them questions. And it became so viral because this is an audience that's already watching these people. And how do we get them to connect to something that's so meaningful to who they are in a way that resonates with them? So that's just one example of many, many different things that we do.
Amazing.
Make it
Amazing.
authentic. Thank
No,
you.
that's amazing. I mean, talking to gamers. I mean, that was the last thing I was trying to think about. But it's when you listen to this one and you realize that those guys, they are viral. So whatever they do, there's a lot of people following them. It's amazing,
So let
amazing,
me
Dana.
tell you one more thing that we did, which I think was groundbreaking. I'm sorry to cut you
Yes,
off, but I think it's so relevant. Is that one of the things we thought would be really amazing is that when we think about the Holocaust, it's such an amazing, a meaningful part of who we are in our lives as Jews and Israelis. And there were all of these songs that you hear every year and once again, and you feel very connected to the Holocaust. Amazing songs, okay, that we know from every ceremony when we were in schools. And these are the same songs. And something that we did was a program that we started 3 years ago, was a collaboration with Israel's top singers and songwriters. We started 2.5 years ago by inviting them to a 3-day seminar together with Holocaust survivors. And they spent time listening to their stories, asking them questions, drawing inspiration from them. And after that, we invited them, we gave them some time and invited them again to create a space for creation. And new songs came out of that and are now the new soundtrack of what Holocaust means in a way that's authentic and relevant to today's generation and not the generation of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago when they think of commemorating. So that was another type of project that we did recently.
wow. I mean, it's amazing because and it's a brilliant idea. You talk with the survivors, then you connect with someone who's really young compared to the survivor. Then he put it in writing and the music, and then you have you know, a new music, a new way to communicate, to tell the story about the Holocaust. So it's amazing. Let me go to the power of the format because that's also important. You have a small living room, a small saloon, and it's you facilitate all the things together. It's like this one. I have a sofa, a couch, and I have a TV. What happens in this living room that can't happen in a large auditorium or in a formal ceremony? In here, you will be sitting together. There's no space, so you will be connected one to each other. Is that the way you do it?
So thank you for allowing me to explain more about what Zikaron BaSalon is, what really happens in the living room. So when we gather together, it's a very informal gathering. So when you enter someone's home, and in Israel, I don't know if you know the app Waze, that's a navigation app, but
Mhm.
24 hours before Holocaust Remembrance Day, there's an app for Waze, and it shows you on the map all of the homes that are hosting Zikaron BaSalon that you can just go to. Knock on the door, there will be a sign, and come into someone's home and participate in the Zikaron BaSalon. Because if you decide to host, you can decide on the website whether you want it to be an open home meaning anyone is invited, or you want it to be a closed home and then it does not appear anywhere but only in our system, and then we can support you. But that's the beauty of it. It's accessible, it's open to all, and it's an evening that is not programmed in the way that one will feel like a ceremony is in a big auditorium that every minute and minute is organized and pre-planned. Now, when we gather together, we sit in a circle. We all see each other. We're one, right? There isn't someone elevated and others watching. And when we sit together and look each other in the eye, we're really doing three things. One of the things that we do is we listen to a testimony. When Zikaron BaSalon started, there were thousands upon hundreds of thousands of Holocaust survivors still alive, sitting at home with no one interested to hear their story. When we started Zikaron BaSalon, all of a sudden, all of these Holocaust survivors were invited to tell their story. Each and every one of them understood that they have a story to tell, and that story is important, and people want to listen to it, and people can use that story not just to carry on the memory of what happened to that person or to their family, but also to do something about it in the future, to be a better person, to take action, to learn something from what happened. That story does not die with them. So first of all, it's giving access to these stories. Nowadays, Holocaust survivors are leaving this world. There are about 40 Holocaust survivors who pass away every day in Israel today, and their numbers are decreasing. 40 a day, and their numbers are decreasing significantly. Most of the Holocaust survivors you would meet today that are able to tell their stories were very young children in the Holocaust. Most of them carry stories of being hidden away or being saved in ways because they were much, much younger children. It's not the type of stories we used to hear 10 and 20 years ago from Holocaust survivors who were young adults or teenagers or even older than that. So when we listen to a story, it's sometimes Holocaust survivors, but nowadays in the reality that we know, the first part of the testimony can also be a recorded testimony, and I would love to tell you more about that later on. Or a second or a third generation of that Holocaust survivor telling that story. And today we at Zikaron BaSalon, we offer a lot of trainings to teach grandchildren how to tell their grandparents' story. It's very compelling. So that's the first part, the memory. The second part is really anchoring us, not staying in the past, but anchoring us in the present. We usually do that by singing together or by listening to a tune or by just simply connecting as a group and being together. And then the third part, which I think is the most important part of the gathering, not just hearing the story, but now the third part is really about the future. What do we learn from this? Who do we want to be as a people? What can this story teach us about, things that we care about today? And how do we learn those lessons and apply them for the future? And one of the important things that we do at Zikaron BaSalon is that anyone can host. So you as the host can decide, I just want to take a testimony and see what happens. And you can click very easily and find a testimony or invite a Holocaust survivor. And, it could be about anything, their story. Or you could say, I want my evening to be about women in the Holocaust. Or I want my evening to revolve around people with disability in the Holocaust. Or I want this evening to be themed around being a child in the Holocaust. And then Zikaron BaSalon, through the website in 3 languages, English, Hebrew, and Spanish, we offer created sessions around that. So we would give you the relevant testimonies that talk about these topics. We would give you a follow-up questions that you could ask. We would offer songs or poems to read that have to do with that topic. So it's very, very easy, and one could choose what they want to do.
So this is in some way it's very simple. I mean, there's a lot of logistics behind this one, but it's very simple. There's a lot of education. It's also something that we are looking forward to the future. And what we have is the past, put it in the future. Then we start, thinking about this one. And this, I can see there is also formation from the survivors to their maybe to their kids and to their grandkids. So they are passing the history to the future generations as well. So there's a lot of conversations here. What core competences do you train host in history and facilitation, and how do you assess them?
So it really is important to us to make it clear that anyone can participate in Zikaron BaSalon, and to that point, anyone can facilitate. It's all about taking ownership, understanding that if I care about this topic, Holocaust remembrance, I can do it. Our website today offers all of the information to allow people to do it very, very, very easily. As I told you, it's a click away, and you have a full plan of the video you can play, the questions you can ask, the songs you can play. Here's the link. It's very, very easy to do. Or if you join us on the website and you insert your information, we can also send a survivor to your home if there is one in your area, which we have an extensive network of Holocaust survivors in North America and South America, in Israel, and in other places around the world, in Europe, in Western Europe specifically. So it's very, very easy to do. But I think that the competencies to your question of what does a Holocaust, what does a facilitator of a topic like the Holocaust need to have? First of all, they need to understand they are not there to have an audience. This is about forming a community. And if you think about these two words in Hebrew, kahal, audience, and kehila, community, there are just two letters missing between the two words. And those two letters happen to be the letters representing God, Yud Hey. Because I really feel that when you bring holiness to the room, doesn't have to be bringing religion into the room, not at all, but creating a safe shared space in which people feel not that they're being talked at, but they're being brought in. It's a communal setting. So I think this person needs to be a person that is welcoming, that is a good listener, that is curious, wanting to create a conversation rather than speak at people. That I think really, really, really easy to do. And we're really happy to offer guidance. We also create opportunities for online trainings for people who want to host and have questions. So there are these online sessions that happen all the time, and we're more than happy to invite you to some of these.
Dana, we need to tell can you tell us the website? Because they will listen, even though I will put it over there. But which is the website?
Of course, it's Zikaron BaSalon. So www.zikaron, ZIKARON, BaSalon, BaSalon.com. And we can obviously share it afterwards, and all of you are more than welcome to the website.
Absolutely. Time is flying. We have talked and we went to every little details and miscellaneous in this one. Let's talk about the connecting survivors to the world. And you told us that you have in three languages: Hebrew, English, and Spanish, and you are in different places in around the globe. North America, South America, Europe, everywhere. Looking 10 years ahead, let's see the future. There will be less survivors, but there will be more, maybe it will be more people because there are more grandkids and kids that will be able to tell the story. How will you keep survivor voices central when live testimony becomes rare?
It's an excellent question. And we started asking ourselves this question 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, Holocaust survivors were already becoming old. Even if they were still alive, didn't necessarily mean that they're able to travel, to sit for an hour, to tell their story. It takes a lot from them. So already 10 years ago, we started thinking about this and started planning for the future. So first and foremost, we started recording a lot of testimonies, and we have a project in partnership with the Spielberg archive. I don't know if you know this, but Spielberg, over a decade ago, had a huge project and recorded hundreds of thousands of testimonies from survivors many, many years ago. We now have a collaboration with them in which we offer shortened testimonies, because some of these testimonials, they're 13 hours long. They're 6 hours long. They're very, very long. They tell the story, the deep, deep story of people's lives. And when we talk about a testimony today and the attention span of people to listen to a testimony, it will usually need to be 30 minutes or 40 minutes tops. So we have this partnership with them where we create this opportunity for shortened testimonials that are done in a really professional and beautiful way, so people have the attention and the capacity to listen carefully. So that's one thing. Another thing that we're doing is that AI has been on the verge of becoming a thing already some years ago. So 2 years ago, we started a project with an incredible Israeli company that's supporting us. And we're actually taking testimonies that are sometimes, as I mentioned, 13 or 20-hour long. And through AI, we're creating holograms of these people that you can hologram in your living room. And when you ask them questions, it's able to answer almost any question that you have. Because in the 16-hour videotaping of their testimony, they gave so much information. So they might give a 30-minute testimony as a recorded one, and then people will be able to ask them questions and get responses from them accordingly. It's very, very special. But to your question, I also want to share another thing that happened recently. Maybe some of our audience here isn't aware, but almost 2 years ago, a horrible act of violence happened when Hamas came into Israel on October 7th, 2023. And for a full long day, and I say long because what they were able to accomplish that day were such atrocities and hurting families, children, elderly, and really doing the most horrible things. It was the biggest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. And a lot of people after that, shortly after, said, oh, it's like a second Holocaust. I want to say it wasn't a second Holocaust. It was one of the most horrible atrocities ever created to Jews, like pogroms that happened in the past, like other terrible things like the Farhud in the Arab countries. There are many, many instances of horrific things that are happening, but the Holocaust still remains as a central, different type of event that happened to the Jewish people. And I think it's really important to remember that. And something that we did through Zikaron BaSalon is that we brought children who suffered on October 7th, were in hiding in a closet for the full day, or saw horrible things happening to their parents or to their siblings. And we actually brought them together with Holocaust survivors for a day. There was a television show that filmed and showcased that. But one of the Holocaust survivors seen in this project is Hannah Gufrit, an amazing Holocaust survivor that as a child hid in a closet for 4 years, in a tiny, tiny closet. She hid for 4 years. And during this program that we did, she actually met with a young girl that was the same age as she was during October 7th that hid for over 12 hours in a closet too. And they shared each other's pain and they shared each other's stories. And it was so powerful because you understand that these things that happen to us from other people do not define who we are as people and do not define who we are as Jews. We are Jews because we are proud to be Jews because of our values, and we are proud of who we are because of the things that we believe in and because of the good that we bring to the world through our very, very core value of repairing the world. And the horrible things that happen to us don't define us, they just make us stronger. And that was one of the key points that this gathering between this Holocaust survivor and this young child who was a survivor October 7th was such an emotional and powerful moment.
Very emotional, very emotional. I mean, this is a good end for this podcast. I mean, put it together, years ago and as today, what was happening, and there's no difference. Uh, the same closet, different time on the history. Amazing, amazing. So, well, anyway, thank you very much, Dana. It has been an amazing podcast. I mean, what you were able to share with the community worldwide, it's amazing what you're doing. I mean, congrats on every little details that you have put together. Congrats of the beautiful minds that thought about this idea almost 14 or 15 years ago. And I want to thanks everyone to listening to this podcast. I would like to invite our audience to a next Coffee with Kavana, to another living room, another testimony into our community, and share this with the younger kids in the future. So again, Dana, thank you very much, and guys, see you in my next Coffee with Kavana. It will be as amazing as this one. So to everyone, bye bye now. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.